Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop. And this is my first impressions look on the Puma All Pro Nitro. So this shoe retails for $130. So if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave an affiliate link in the description box. And also, I just checked, I don't know why, but Puma's having a 40% off sale. And this shoe was available with the 40% off sale. So yeah, 40% off $130 is quite a bit of money. So again, affiliate links will be in the description box. Of course, we had the Clyde All Pro, like Puma Clyde All Pro. This shoe was one of the best shoes of like 2 years ago. I feel like this is a pretty old shoe, but this shoe was freaking amazing. Actually my favorite shoe that Puma had to offer, right? Since they started making basketball shoes a couple years ago. So yeah, amazing shoe. And does it live up to the hype? I don't know, but of course we're gonna find that out, right? But of course, this is just my first impressions, and let's get it started right off with the tracciones. And as far as the traction pattern goes, it's kind of similar to the Clyde All Pro, right? So here in the Clyde All Pro, we have kind of like lines, and it's kind of like a checkered, it goes perpendicular, right? Kind of reminds me of like a chessboard or something like that. But yeah, it does go perpendicular to each other. And also we do have a pivot point in the originals. But here in this colorway, we have a fully translucent outsole, which I don't like. I don't like translucent outsoles, but for some reason, Puma's the performance of their translucent rubber is better than their solid rubber counterparts. That's been the case for the MB1, right? The MB1 and the MB1 Low had the translucent and like the solid rubber, and the solid rubber was trash. Translucent was way better, and same thing with the MB2. The MB2 Low I'm playing in, which has the solid rubber, is really bad. And I've been playing it, obviously, comparing the MB2, like the regular MB2 with the translucent, and the translucent is way better, right? So it just sticks way better. So yeah, I guess it's good that Puma gave us translucent for this, but yeah, I just don't like the yellowing, you know. But just trying it on my wood floors, the traction seems really good. You know, it's sticking, it feels really sticky too. And then we have a Puma logo here in the forefoot, and then also we have a midfoot shin plate, and it says Nitro. Right, so yeah. Obviously, it's using Nitro, and then here in the heel, this actually kind of reminds me of like the Harden, kind of like Harden Volume 1 pattern a little bit. And we do have 2 slits for some reason. We have 2 slits here in the heel, but either way, yeah, traction feels really good, feels sticky, and hopefully it performs very well on dust. You know, I'm gonna need to try it, obviously. And as far as the durability goes, durability seems pretty good, right? The Clyde All Pro wasn't the best. You know, I actually did play with these on an outdoor court and was fraying off and stuff like that. I think it was during the quarantine, right? That's why I play with these outdoors. But anyways, the All Pro Nitro, the rubber does seem a little bit harder. The grooves are deeper as well. So I feel like on an outdoor court, it'll be pretty good, right? So there is the outsole there. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, also feels very nice. And that's something that I really like about Puma and their shoe designs, right? So here in the heel, they just keep it rounded, right? Nothing crazy, but yeah, there is a good amount of compression here in the heel. The cushion is pretty caged here in the back of the heel. However, it does still feel pretty smooth in the heel, right? And then the forefoot, I love this shape that they have, right? Look at that. Look at how crazy this shape is, you know? So when I'm shooting, right, especially like in the Puma shoes, I just go on my toes super duper easily. It just feels really nice when I'm shooting, you know what I mean? Just because I like to be on my toes, you know, as opposed to something like flatter, like Adidas shoe designs go. This feels a lot better. So overall, heel to toe transition feels very smooth, and we have a little bit of forefoot flex, right? Actually a good amount, but I am putting a good amount of force into it to flex the actual shoes. So it does feel a little bit stiffer than other shoes, but it still has a good amount of flexibility. So overall, heel to toe transition does feel very smooth. And now moving on to the cushioning setup. Yes, we have full length nitro foam. And yeah, it looks kind of interesting. It looks very different. It actually kind of reminds me of the 361 degree foam. I think it's called Quick Foam, right? And it kind of looks like styrofoam actually, which makes the shoe look really cheap. And also in this colorway, we have some red, kinda, right? It looks kind of cheap, you know, just the way that they put the red here into the foam. I don't know. But either way, it feels really nice though. It feels really, really nice, super duper soft. It doesn't feel bouncy at all. It doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of rebound back. It just feels really, really soft, which is a good or bad thing. It all depends on what you want and what your preference is. But for me, it feels nice. Honestly though, I like to have a little bit of rebound back, especially in my phones, but it does have a good amount of compression here in the heel, and it does feel overall soft, which does feel nice. And then as far as the step and comfort goes, so the insole is very, very nice. You know, Puma gives us really thick, plush, luscious, I don't know, I've never used that word before, but it feels really nice. Obviously, insoles do bottom out, you know, in like a month or two. If you keep playing in it, it does bottom out. So insoles aren't the best, especially for step and comfort, but when you first get it, it's really, really nice, right? But however, the strobo board is really, really stiff. So I think that's definitely something that they need to work on. You know what I mean? So for example, Adidas, they have soft strobo boards, right? With a very, very big cutouts. They even have a large cutout in the heel sometimes, right? Li-Ning, Way of Way, they have very, very soft mesh strobo boards, which makes you feel the foam right underneath your foot. Nike, we have Zoom Strobo and Air Strobo, so you can feel the Air Strobo unit or Zoom unit right underneath your foot, right? Amazing technologies, improves the step and comfort, and also improves the cushioning in my personal opinion. Puma, they're just using traditional strobo boards, which isn't a bad thing, but in my personal opinion, I feel like they should do something and make it a little bit softer so the step and comfort is a little bit better, right? So like I said though, right now this shoe is new, so the insole is very plush and very comfortable, but you know, once it bottoms out, then it's not the best for step and comfort. So there's that. But as far as the court feel goes, the court feel feels average, right? The heel, you do feel kind of high up off the ground. The forefoot does feel a little bit lower to the ground. There is a nice little offset as well, but the natural foam, especially here in the heel, does feel really, really nice. So there is the cushioning setup there. Moving on to the materials, they're calling this a mix of synthetic and textile materials, which is pretty interesting, right? So honestly, it kind of looks like a plastic screen mesh almost. And then like over that, they kind of put they stitch some material or like a textile material over it. You know what I mean? And it like almost kind of like embroidering. You know what I mean? So it does feel like a textile material, but where there is no kind of like textile or where there's no sewing, it does look like it's like a plastic screen mesh, right? But overall, it's really, really thin. Look at that. Super duper thin. It conforms to your foot very well. It does feel a little flimsy, however. Just a tiny bit flimsy, and also this material does feel kind of cheap. However, it feels really nice on foot, and also there's really not a whole lot of stretch to it, so the overall material does feel supportive too. And then this synthetic material, look at this synthetic material. This looks, I mean, it kind of looks like a patent leather almost, but like it's not real, and it creases like crazy and does feel super duper cheap. And also it's kind of like a half booty tongue kind of design, you know what I mean? So the tongue goes underneath the upper a little bit here, right? And then the eyelets kind of go over the material where there is no tongue, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, the tongue is pretty plush. Usually Puma gives us very, very plush tongue, so that does feel pretty nice and cozy on top of your foot. It also has a half booty construction tongue, giving you a better overall one-to-one fit. And also here in the ankle area, it's like not that well padded, which is pretty interesting, right? On the sides, it's very, very minimal. There is a good amount more padding, like where your Achilles is, like in the back of the heel, but on the sides is super duper minimal. So overall, the material does feel pretty minimal, especially here in the forefoot and also in the midfoot. The tongue does add a little bit of coziness and also in the back of the heel, but for the most part, overall, it does feel like a minimal upper, which I do like. It feels nice on foot as well. It conforms to your foot very well. It's just, it does feel pretty damn cheap. You know what I mean? Especially for 130 bucks. 130 bucks, not the best for quality, but like I said, it feels like it gets the job done on foot, right? And now moving on to the fit, I went up half a size, and this shoe fits me very, very well, right? Like my toes go pretty much right to the edge of the shoe. It's a pretty snug fit here in the toe box, and also width-wise, I would say it is like a normal to slightly narrow. So it fits me very, very well going up half a size, right? So if you have a very skinny foot or you want a really, really snug fit, then go true to size. Just be careful on that though. But for most people, I'll suggest going up half a size just because I went up half a size and it fits me perfectly, right? If you have a wide foot, probably go up a full size or maybe even a full size and a half just because it's a pretty snug fit, right? So there's a fit there. Moving on to the support and lockdown, I feel like it's gonna be pretty good overall so far. It's just the forefoot lateral containment kind of worries me, you know what I mean? So there's not really any lateral counter, and also like I said, this material isn't doesn't feel super supportive because first of all, it's very thin, right? And like it doesn't stretch, but it feels like it's gonna roll over on itself just a tiny bit here in the forefoot. So we'll have to see on the lateral containment here. But here in the heel, the foam, look at how much the foam comes up, right? The foam comes up a lot, and also we have an internal TPU heel counter. So lateral containment here in the heel feels like it's gonna be good, but just a little worried here in the forefoot. And also lateral stability feels like it's gonna be pretty good, right? There's not a crazy outrigger, but you guys can see how much the midsole and also the outsole protrude out here, so giving you a pretty wide base, right? So support and lockdown feels like it's gonna be good, just a little bit worried here in the forefoot. And then as far as the weight goes, I feel like it's gonna be, it doesn't feel super heavy, but doesn't feel super light either. I probably average like 12 ounces, 13 ounces, I think. Yeah, 12.5 ounces, that's actually the average weight. Let's check the other shoe, 12.3 ounces. But the Clyde All Pro, I feel like is a little bit lighter, right? Yeah, 11.95 ounces. So not that big of a difference, but yeah, I mean, Pumas, they usually give us super heavy, right? 13, 14 ounces. So like average weight is actually pretty good, and it doesn't feel super heavy. It just feels a little bulky just because there's just so much foam here in the heel. Look at that. Feels a little bit bulky because of that, but for the most part it feels pretty nice as far as like, you know, the weight distribution goes. The upper feels overall pretty minimal so far too. So there's that. As far as the aesthetics go, it's okay, it's all right. It's definitely not my favorite design. Maybe it's just this colorway, but I don't know. Not a huge fan of the design. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, this shoe's feeling really nice so far, right? The traction seems like it's gonna be very good. The cushion feels very nice so far. It feels like a responsive cushion with a good amount of comfort and compression here in the heel. Upper feels nice on foot so far. It feels minimal. Support feels pretty good and fits me very well. So yeah, it's feeling really good so far, and my first impressions are very good on the All Pro Nitro. The only thing I don't like is, I guess, the material quality, but like I said, I don't really notice it all too much when I have it on foot. It's just, you know, for 130 bucks, it does feel pretty damn cheap, right? So anyways, that about concludes my first impressions look on the All Pro Nitro. Again, if you guys do want to cop a, try to leave a feeling in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.